Sourabh Gupta is a senior Asia-Pacific International Relations Policy Specialist at the Institute for China-American Studies. He provides insight on China's foreign policy stance and objectives.
I think China wants stability at this point of time. Of course, we're trying to exit COVID at this point of time, and we have this huge conflict happening, and it has enormous consequences for the international system. So what China's main message is to tamp down tensions. Let's be a source of stability so that, again, we can regroup and move forward. Obviously, that's easier said than done, but China wants to be a calming influence in the international system rather than adding fuel to the fire.
His message about Russia, pretty succinct. The relationship with Russia, rock solid.
It is rock solid. You know, one thing we need to understand out here, yes, territorial integrity has been violated, a cardinal rule of international relations. But as he's also mentioned, I mean, reasonable security guarantees or reasonable security assurances and considerations should also be looked at. But the important point to note out here is Russia is a dear friend, and not just for China, for India, for other countries also. It has done, I would say, something wrong. But the time when you need to help your friend and stand by your friend is when your friend has done something wrong and is having a hard time. This is not to support Russia at this point of time, but one doesn't backstab friends at a point of time when the friend itself has incurred problems and is having a really rough time. And I think that's where China is going.
Yeah, and to your point on that, it's easy when everybody's kind of pouncing on you to get boxed into a corner. China's been neutral about this, what's happening in Ukraine. As a result of that, can it play a role as a mediator?
It can play a role, I would say, as a facilitator at this point of time. Down the line, when the hot part of this conflict ends, perhaps it can play the role of some form of a mediator because it has good relations with Ukraine. And remember, it's not just good relations with Ukraine. One of China's most surprisingly good relations is with Poland. One of those 17+1 countries, which is now probably 16+1, is Poland. And Poland has very antagonistic relations with Russia, but it has good relations with China. And China values EU relations and relations with Poland. So China has a stake in stability out here. But at this point of time, it's difficult to do much more than facilitate a conversation and hope that the UN can get in a big way on humanitarian issues. But perhaps down the line, China's good offices can be used.
Analysis there from Sourabh Gupta.